Hey, what's up guys? It's Rick with the Digital Divide. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Amazon HD10. This is the 2021 model that I picked up for a whopping $75 during Black Friday, so I thought I'd do a quick review on it. Now, this is the flimsy cardboard box that it comes with. They're definitely cutting costs to get that price down to where it's at. This is the tablet itself. It is really nice and slim, although again, they had to cut costs, so it's made out of plastic. It's not made out of the more premium aluminum or metals that you'll find on some more expensive tablets. That's the model number that you can see there. Now at the top of this thing, we've got dual speakers, one on the left and the right at the top of the unit, so you do get audio separation. You've got the volume rocker on the right, along with a power button and a USB Type-C charging port and headphone jack as well. And then on the back, you've got the camera, the rear camera there. Now, there's nothing on the other side of this, but at the bottom, you do have a micro SD slot, so you can expand the onboard storage of this thing. I've got a 128 gigabyte in there right now. So let's jump into the tech specs of this thing. The 11th generation Fire HD comes with an 8-core MediaTek MT8183 Helio CPU. So that's 8 cores. It also has a Mali G72 GPU, 3 gigabytes of RAM, and then the internal storage is either 32 gigabytes or 64 gigabytes, but you do have that micro SD card expandability, so you can essentially expand that to an infinite level. You've also got a 10.1-inch 1080p display with over 2 million pixels. It's got a pixel density of 224 ppi. It's got a 2 megapixel front-facing camera and a 5 megapixel rear-facing camera, and it supports video recording at 720p at 30 frames per second. So not the best cameras in the world. Now, they also advertise this with a 12-hour battery life, but in my experience, it's been more around 10 hours. Now I want to get into what I consider essential accessories for this thing. And the first one that I want to talk about here is a Bluetooth keyboard. I think if you're going to be doing any kind of work at all on this thing, or word processor, or even just surfing the internet, this is really, really critical to have. I have a Logitech here that I just have laying around, and it's really slim, so you can throw it in a backpack. I've also got a Bluetooth mouse, which I think is important as well. This is a Logitech M557 model. It works pretty well for me. I think if you're going to do any kind of gaming on this, you really do need a really nice Bluetooth controller as well. I've got the Xbox controller here that I use. And then last thing I think is critical is a case, because again, this is not a metal tablet. It is plastic, so it's a bit, it needs some protection. And this thing will protect both the front and the back of the unit. As you can see, the Fire snaps right into it, and then the cover is held magnetically, and it's a perfect fit. The tablet itself doesn't have any magnets in it, but the case does, and those are at the top left and right, as you can see here. And that keeps it firmly shut when not in use. And then you still have access to the rear camera over here as well. Now guys, the case was not expensive. I got it for less than 20 bucks on Amazon. They make them in a variety of colors. I just got the black one, but it is super cheap. Just make sure that you get the 11th generation, because any other generation case will not fit on the 2021. Now, this case is cool because if you're doing any kind of work, or even if you're gaming on this with a controller, you need it to stand up, and this does a nice job of standing the unit up and giving you a really good viewing angle, just like any other case. I'm sure you've seen these before on the iPad as well. Now, I do also recommend a pen. This is just a really cheap pen that you can find anywhere. It's got the capacitive rubber end. This one turns into a real pen, or you can use it for a tablet to draw with as well. And I'll give you a really quick example. This isn't going to be as accurate as something like the Galaxy or iPad pencils, but you'd be surprised. I'm going to do a quick little sketch here, and you can see that you can get some pretty decent results. I'm going to use the ink top here. I just want to make that it's a little bit too thick, so we're going to make that a little bit thinner. I'm just going to draw really quickly a guy. I'll just draw like the head of some dude just chilling out and hanging out here. So I'll draw some ears here, and then the underside of his face. Slap some eyeballs in here. Fill out a little bit more detail. Okay, and we should probably give him some hair at some point, so I'm going to give him a big old afro. I think I'm going to make it purple. Yeah, that works. And again, this app is called Sketchpad, and it is free on the Android store. Alright, so we've given him a very crude afro. I'm going to crudely draw a few additional strands of hair flying all over the place here. This is just a really quick example of what you can do with a really crappy pen. This is not a pen that is made for drawing. This is like dollar store pen that you can find anywhere, but it works well. And especially considering the price point that you paid for this thing, you can make some pretty decent sketches. So I'm just going to fill out the neck and arms here, and then we should be good to go. So with all of the accessories that I mentioned before, it really turns this tablet into an all-in-one device that is super snappy. The touchscreen is very responsive. With a mouse and keyboard, you can really do some work, and you know, you can type up some Word documents, you can surf the internet, check your email, shop if you want to. It really turns it into a versatile device. Now, before I go any further, I do want to say I modded my tablet here. The Fire HD operating system that Amazon puts on here sucks. So I'm not going to review this tablet with the stock Amazon Fire OS because I think it's way too restrictive. So I've modified mine. It's very, very simple to do. I've put detailed instructions in the link below this video that'll tell you exactly how to do it in just a few minutes. You don't have to flash your unit. There's no risk of destroying it. It's super simple. Just keep in mind the rest of this review is with a modified tablet. So we're going to take a brief look at the camera and audio quality here. Neither one of these is great. These are a few example pictures that I took using the camera on the tablet, and again, not great. You really need a lot of light, and even then it's not superb. Here's a really quick video that I took. Again, this is only at 30 frames per second. I think it's 720p max resolution, so you're not going to be using this to take any photography classes. Okay, so now we're going to take a brief look at the audio quality, and again, this is so difficult to show over a YouTube video, so I'm just going to briefly just play something here and give you an idea. And one of the neat things about this tablet is that it can transform from a regular tablet into an Echo Show device, and you can transform it using Show mode. And when you do that, it just turns into a normal Amazon Echo device. You can tell Alexa to do pretty much anything. Alexa, what was the score in the New York Giants game?
Here's something I found on the web. According to BigBlueView.com, the New York Giants lost to the Dallas Cowboys, 44-20, on Sunday afternoon at AT&T Stadium.
Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 1:54 p.m. Enjoy your afternoon.
Now, as an Alexa device, she has all the smart home features that the normal Echo has, so I can control all of my lights from here while it's in show mode. I can also access my home security cameras. I can do all of that stuff right on this tablet, and it's always listening for the Alexa cue while it's in this mode as well. So I can jump into like my bedroom camera, for example. It's going to take a minute for it to sync up with my camera, but once it does, you can see that it has all the same functionality of any other smart Amazon Echo device. And then you can simply turn it back into a tablet by disabling show mode. this tablet does have some limited mirroring abilities, so I wasn't able to find a way to just mirror everything that's on the tablet. But if you go in to watch any content, like YouTube for example, which I'm doing now, if you have a Fire TV device, it will recognize it. If you click on the mirror button on this YouTube video, for example, it'll see the Fire TV as long as they're connected on the same wireless network, and then you can stream your video content directly to any TV that has a Fire TV device on it. And the cool thing is, while you're doing that, you still have access to your tablet. So while it's streaming the video, you can still use it to surf the web or do whatever you'd like. So now we're going to take a look at some gaming performance. We're going to take a look at both cloud-based gaming and playing natively on the tablet. So I'm going to go ahead and sync up my Xbox controller here. And then we're going to jump into Xbox Game Pass. And I got this from the Google Play Store. Again, if you modify the tablet using the instructions in the link that I provided below this video, you will have full access to the Google Play Store and you'll be able to download all of these apps. So now that we have access to Game Pass, we're going to jump into a cloud-based game. So I think we're going to take a look at, let's jump into Halo Infinite multiplayer. So I'm going to speed this up for the sake of time. And then I'll just jump into some Halo multiplayer. Now, with this game, I noticed there is a lot of input latency when you're playing it through the cloud, much more so than the Samsung Tab S7, which I reviewed a little while ago. But again, that's a $600 tablet. This cost me less than $100. Now, that was the Black Friday deal. This is, I think, normally $150. I got it for 75 bucks. But the price divide there is huge. And if you consider what you're paying for this, I think the performance is definitely in line, and it definitely exceeds what I expected, to be honest. So I think we've had enough of Halo. Let's jump into a different game now. Let's try Forza Horizon 5. And again, I'm going to speed this up for the sake of time. Alright, and I'm not going to jump into a race because it's going to take a while, so I'm just going to drive around to get an idea and give you guys an idea of how this performs when you're cloud streaming. So right off the bat, this game has way less latency than Halo did. It's much more responsive. And I think it's because it's a driving game. It's not a Twitch online shooter, so that might have something to do with it. But yeah, this is a really great experience, especially if you're traveling and you're at a hotel and you're traveling for work or whatever, and you just want to sit down and game. This cloud-based solution is not bad at all, especially for a device that costs less than $100. So I think we've had enough Forza. Now we're going to take a look at what games run like on the actual hardware. So games that I downloaded off the Google Play Store and that are running natively off of the hardware of this tablet. So let's take a look. I have a bunch of games installed. Let's take a look at SpongeBob Squarepants. This is a 3D platformer. I think this is available on current Xbox and PlayStation machines. I have the resolution set to high. I have the quality set to epic. I did cap the frame rate at 30. So as you can see, the game is running beautifully. It's running at high resolution and on the highest possible settings, which is epic for the quality of the rendering, and it's running flawlessly. Alright, I think we've had enough of Mr. Squarepants. Let's jump into another game. I think I want to check out Rush Rally 3. This is a really cool racing game. It's a rally racing game. It reminds me of the old Sega Rally Championship games on the Saturn. So let's check this out. It is much newer, so it does have some pretty decent graphics. I'm going to jump into the settings here so you can see what I have this set to. I've got it set to run at 900p. And everything is on the highest possible setting. I do have a 30 frames per second cap on this just because I want a stable frame rate. So as you can see, the game is beautiful and it's running flawlessly. And this is, again, this isn't streaming, this is running on the hardware, and it performs flawlessly, it controls flawlessly. Really, really great experience. I was actually shocked because of how cheap the tablet was. I did not expect it to do well when it came to native gaming, but it really blew me away. My expectations were definitely met. This is definitely a viable gaming tablet for the money. You can't do any better. Alright, so let's get out of here and let's look at some old school gaming. I want to play some Symphony of the Night. This is a classic Konami Castlevania game. It's one of my favorite old school Castlevania games of all time. I'm gonna try to make this brief, but I love this game so much I'm probably gonna end up playing it for longer than I should.
Dracula, die now and leave this world. You'll never belong here.
Oh, but this world in fact.
Okay, I think we've had enough. I beat the first boss. We're going to jump out of here. I want to show you some productivity stuff, because if your work uses like VMs or any remote software utilities to jump into a computer remotely like mine does, you can see here that I'm logging in through an app called Splashtop to my work computer, and it's flawless. And there is a little bit of a delay, as you can see with the mouse, but if I needed to work off of this tablet, I could with the mouse and keyboard. Everything maps one-to-one. Again, there's a tiny little bit of input lag with the mouse, but that's to be expected. If you needed to work on a pinch and you weren't near your work computer, this is a viable option for productivity. And again, overall, I think performance on here has been great. Surfing the web, I can have multiple tabs open at the same time. Everything is really snappy. I have no complaints about this tablet. Again, especially considering that I paid less than $100 for it, and the performance is unbelievable for the price. I mean, if you go into 3D apps like Google Maps, for example, it runs absolutely buttery smooth. As you can see here, it's just everything on here has been a pleasant surprise, I would say. Now, if you're wondering how I recorded everything, I use this app because the tablet itself doesn't do it, but you can download an app called X Recorder on the Google Play Store, and it lets you record the screen just like the more premium tablets, which is really, really nice. And it has a bunch of extra features as well, including one that lets you like paint or draw on the screen on top of other apps like this. And I just thought that was really neat. So overall, I give this tablet a huge thumbs up. I think the value proposition for the money cannot be beat right now, but I can't stress enough that you really do need to make a few modifications, and they're in the link in the description below. It's super easy to do. It will make your experience with this tablet so much better, so please do that. As always, thanks for watching.